Alabi to handle today's session, which hopefully will not only be enjoyable, but we'll all find very useful. So thank you all, and I welcome you to this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very warm welcome remark, and thank you once again, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much. So on this note, we are kickstarting right away, and I will be introducing, we have two speakers on the call, Mr. Fernandez, Marcus-Obiene, and Mr. Dayo, Ashonibare. I'm going to be taking the very brief bio of Mr. Fernandez. Fernandez Marcus-Obiene is a dynamic legal technology leader, policy advocate, and author with extensive experience at the intersection of law, technology, and justice sector reform. He currently serves as the Special Assistant to the President of Nigeria on Justice Sector Reform and ICT, Digital and Innovation Technology. Fernandez is the Chairman of the Technology and Law Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association Section on Legal Practice, where he has driven initiatives to develop guidelines for the use of technology in legal practice. He also serves in various leadership roles within the NBA, including a consultant to the NBA Lagos branch, Membership and Data Management Committee, and as a member of its Judiciary Relations Committee. Additionally, Fernandez is a co-opted member of the Presidential Task Force on Artificial Intelligence at the International Bar Association, and a member of the National Core Convening Group and the reference group of experts for the Justice Needs Survey at the Hague Institute for Innovation in Law. Prior to his current role, Fernandez was a partner at SEDAC Attorneys, a full-service law firm, where he led the firm's technology initiatives and workflow optimization. He also co-founded a successful legal tech startup with Create.com, which has implemented technology solutions for law firms and legal organizations, including the Nigerian Bar Association. Fernandez is recognized for his expertise in dispute resolution, emerging technologies, AI regulation, and justice sector modernization. He's a distinguished speaker and thought leader on legal innovation, having authored numerous publications on legal tech and AI governance, including a book titled Law and Technologies, exploring the evolving intersection of law and technology. Fernandez has shaped policy through his various leadership roles in legal technology and reform initiatives. He's committed to driving innovative change in the justice sector. Fernandez leads strategic development and implementation of national justice reforms across constitutional development and implementation of national justice reforms across constitutional, legislative, and technological domains. He analyzes challenges and proposes solutions to enhance access, efficiency, transparency, and the rule of law. Some of his key projects include setting up of a national criminal information management system currently ongoing, drafting of justice sector reform bills for the Federal Ministry of Justice and the Nigerian Bar Association currently ongoing, review and update of the Nigerian National Policy on Justice 2024 to 2028 completed, and development of guidelines on the use of technology in legal practice in Nigeria completed. We're glad to have you. Thank you for joining us, Fernandez, and we look forward to profiting maximally from your wealth of experience. So I'm just going to quickly take the bio of the second speaker, Dayo Ashonibare. Dayo G. Ashonibare is a lecturer at the Faculty of Law-Based University, managing partner, head of practice of Levite Solicitors and Arbitrators, the lead facilitator of Levite Legal Clinic, and member, Legal Education Standing Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association. He served as the past alternate national chairman of the Young Lawyers Governing Council of the Nigerian Bar Association, and is the pioneer secretary of the Based University Law Clinic. Dayo is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, National Association of Law Teachers, Global Alliance for Justice Education, is a member of the section on legal practice of the NBA, and a member of the network of University on Legal Aid Institution. Dayo developed the content and pioneered the teaching of ICT law as a course in Based University, and with the mentorship of Professor Ernest Ojukwu, SAN, pioneered the teaching of clinical and multi-court practice at the Faculty of Law Based University. He has publications on cybercrime, information communication technology law, and public interest law. He has facilitated and attended conferences and workshops in Nigeria and abroad. Once again, thank you for joining us, Mr. Dayo, and you're welcome. So on this note, having introduced our speakers, we are going to delve into the conversation head on. So, I am going to, it's going to be another webinar on demystifying technology that the committee will be hosting. So the model is I'm going to have questions and either Dayo or Fernandez. Dayo and Fernandez, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yes, please go ahead with Mr. Fernandez. It's my Oga here.
Okay, Fernandez, can you hear? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Dayo, thank you so much.
No.
So,
the president will have to go first, please.
okay, so I'm starting with you, Fernandez. Now, my first question to you is, what are some basic, because we're starting with the basics, we want to the first phase, and we want our participants to understand the basics. So what are some basic technologies currently available that can enhance legal practice in Nigeria? That's one question. Now, are there any misconceptions? Are there fears? Are there phobias about legal technology that you believe needs to be clarified? Fernandez.
You see, technology did not want me to talk. They wanted Dayo to speak first. They wanted Dayo to speak first. That's why the thing is misbehaving. Okay, so thank you very much. Before I start answering the question, I'd like to first refer also. If you visit, I'll just post the link here. If you've not had the time to look at it, please look at it. It's the guidelines that were approved by the NBA for the implementation of technology in legal practice in Nigeria. So it's a very, simple to read, easy document. It sort of explains what you need to do at different levels. Now, some of the most basic ones the question I've been asked is what are the most basic things that we need or technologies that are available for lawyers that we're not using? I know everybody here uses Microsoft Word, right? That's like the most basic, but even within that Microsoft Word, there's so many things that are available for us that we're not using. So many things. And I want to share my screen now to give an example. So I'll open the Word document. And I think we've seen, in a few of the webinars that I've attended, we've seen a few. And this is the basic. So there's a subsequent one that is going to be more detailed. But I'll share my screen now. Moderator, I hope I can do so.
Yes, please go ahead, although you're going to have to be very much time.
Okay, so here's my screen. So I really don't understand why things are happening the way they're happening. I really need to do a lot to change. Life is developing and I need to develop in life. So whatever it is I need to do in the next few years, I need to do it as fast as possible. Now, this is on Microsoft Word. You've seen what I've said, and you've seen that it's, I'm Nigerian, I'm speaking, fairly Nigerian English, not American, not Igbo, but it's able to see what I've written and explain, and do a type word. So, for example, if I were in a meeting, I'll simply just use something like this, have that, whatever, do what I use, rather than having to type something afresh, I can talk about it. And then once I talk about it, I'll use it for any other activity that I want to do. Again, in Microsoft Word, we have so many. I would say Microsoft Suite, the Microsoft 360. So we have a bunch of other things. So assuming we had a document and we wanted to transcribe that document from text, from audio to text, it also has that option. I don't want to transcribe the document now. There are simple things like editor. So if there's a mistake, when I finish working on any document, I come here, I'll see if there's any mistake. Now there are no mistakes that are indicated here. These are some of the very basic technologies that we use. There are things like, I worry about the answer for what basic is, but my point really is that even within the most basic, which is Microsoft Word, there are quite a lot of things that we can use. So if you go here to the add-ins button, you will see that there are quite a lot of things that you can add to using Microsoft Word. So you can add ChatGPT, you can use Quillbot, you can have math type, so it can help you to create math equation. If you are one of those people that are afraid of math, you can create charts and diagrams by downloading all these things. You have Ghostwriter, which I have here now. There are other examples. There are a bunch of other stuff. Just so within the space of the Microsoft Word that we're all using, that we all have access on, we're all using. There's so many applications and options that we can use for technology purposes. Now, aside Microsoft Word, things that we have in Microsoft Word, we have very important. So, for example, on this meeting, a few people have Otter AI, a few people have different versions of. I use both Phantom and Otter. And if you note, there are what do you call it now? There are, after this meeting ends, you create a note of all the things that they've said and they've used it. There are things for legal research, Law Pavilion, obviously, LexisNexis. There are things like Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox, and these are very important for me because if you have a OneDrive document, I'm working on this document, and what's her name? Damilola is working on the same document. Both of us can work on that document. I can see where she's working. I can respond. Again, I don't want to go too far to talk about the most significant ones. I wanted to talk about one just now, but one that all of us can do. And I don't know if Dami will just allow me 3 minutes to talk about it. But Dayo will address the rest.
Okay.
So this is my
3
phone.
minutes. 3 minutes is a lot of time, but okay, thank you.
So this is my phone. I will just go to my camera. Now there's a document in front of me. This is a letter that I'd written a while ago when I was doing my book launch. So I put my camera on top of the book. I select text to scan. This is available for most modern Android devices. So if you look at my screen now, you see that it's sort of like I've captured the entire screen. What's the text that is on the screen? I mean, you can't see very clearly, but there's something like it. So from here, I can select and copy the text I want to copy. So I can select the text I want to copy. So this is what I want to copy. So I selected the text I want to copy. I can copy it. Let's say, for example, I paste it on, let's say I'm trying to be basic. So I paste it on WhatsApp. I paste it on WhatsApp. I want to share my screen again. My 3 minutes is not done yet. So I paste it on WhatsApp. And this is the stuff that was on the document that I've pasted on WhatsApp. This is the stuff that was on the document that I've pasted now on my WhatsApp. And the significance of this, this is basic. Now, for some of us who don't have the kind of camera that can do that level of scanning, what we can also do, we can also use our things like cam scanner.
Are you sure your 3 minutes is not up yet?
It's almost up, but it's not up. I said it at 19. It's 20. So yes, there's also things like, yes, I can hear you. Or maybe, okay, so my 3 minutes is up. I will stop then if that's the case. But I just wanted to make that you can also use something like your cam scanner to do the same thing. You have a document, it converts it to Microsoft Word version, you copy it. So when you're quoting something, you want to quote section 53 of the Constitution, section 48, you can copy. But these are basic things that all of us can have access to without paying extra money for them. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. I almost felt like you were doing my at some point. I did not even know your device was typing as you were talking until I saw your screen. And that's really, and I'm so impressed because when I tried, it was always typing with errors, maybe because of my accent, my Nigerian accent and that. But that was very impressive. Okay, Mr. Dayo, I am back to you.
Yes, please.
So my question to you is, now, what are the first steps a lawyer or a law firm, because you run a law firm, you are a law teacher as well, and you're a lawyer. So what are the first steps a lawyer or law firm can take to start integrating technology into their practice now, as basic as possible? Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for that question. And I think I was following Mr. Fernandez's discussion, and I just said this is a master class. So I will try as much as possible to try and see how I can meet up to that standard. It's very simple. One of the things you need to first understand is, I like to use this word that technology is what we cannot do without. It's inevitable for now, because practically everything we do is basically online. So the first thing first is, number one, you need to accept the fact that it has come to stay and it is now part of what we do. So as a law firm, one of the first things you need to first identify is you need to first invest in training first, because you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't understand how technology training works, how most of the benefits that come with technology comes through, there is no how you will be able to integrate properly. So number one, your members of staff in the office, your colleague, the lawyers in the office, you need to understand those tools that are available. For those of us, you need to continue this training so that they can understand those tools available. There are some of the tools that Mr. Fernandez have mentioned now, especially the speech-to-text tool. Most law firms don't know that they can do that. However, most of our seniors will say, no, that's how all these young lawyers will now start becoming lazy because of the benefits that this come with. But this is trying to make life easy. And that's why I started with the fact that you need to first accept that technology is now part of practice, and it has come to make practice very easy. Now, when you move from that, you need to invest in training. Now, if you want to have efficiency as a law firm, you like from what a law firm, the step the law firm needs to take, you need to first invest in training. Apart from training yourself, retraining the staff, members of staff in your office, so that by the time they have documents to review, they don't go through the old-fashioned ways of reviewing documents. Use all the necessary AI tools that are available for them to be able to review this document. But if they don't have this necessary training, there is no how they will be able to utilize this. Then another very important part of it is that we have a lot of applications and software. It's not all the softwares you can use. You need to choose the one you want to use, the ones that are very necessary for you. Number one of the major problems we have in our practice in Nigeria is negotiation, because you can move from this law firm now. By the time you get to another law firm, something for 10 naira in this law firm, the other law firm can do it for you for 2 naira. But if you have an automated system in your practice, and when somebody comes and you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to send you my bill, and you have something that makes that work for you already, there's a software that can help you do that billing. When you use that type of software, it solves the issue of negotiation. You understand? Because at times, some people will tell you, give me my bill. At times, you don't want to have a one-on-one conversation with them. You just want to do them an email. You understand, to send them your bill. Now, because at times you look at it and you wonder whether it is what you're giving has value for what you want to offer. There are softwares that can assist you to do that. Even the interviews you have in your law firms, there are what am I going to call it? There are tools, there are softwares that can also assist you to be able to have pre-trial conferences with your clients. You don't have to travel all the way, or you don't have to allow your clients to come all the way for them to have them. You can set up online meetings. These are simple tools that you can immediately take as a law firm. I don't see how would you have a law firm that you don't have just simple tools like a normal a smart TV that you can use to have Zoom call. That should be one of the first things you need to have. And if you don't have that, you can actually have a laptop that you can use to be able to do some of this interview. These are some of the little tools you need to have. Another important tool is that you need internet. Internet is everywhere now. It has to be part of your overhead cost, because I don't see a law firm that can function without having what? Internet. Because number one, you need to continue to work, because there are a lot of search engines that you can use to be able to enhance whatever you're working on. Apart from that, you also need the internet to keep your security cameras working. You need the internet to use any of the applications. Internet is very, very fundamental. Specifically, it's a very simple and the easiest way you can start integrating what your practice. But also very important, and I will just stop at this point, is another thing you need to do is you need to have a policy for yourself, because we have a situation nowadays that we have integrated into technology, and you see people taking work laptop home. You understand? And you start having issues with confidentiality of documents, information in the office getting to the public space and all that. Before you integrate into technology, before you start taking advantage of technology, you need to have policies in place that stipulate policies in the use of office emails, what you're supposed to use your office emails for, what you're not supposed to use it for. You need to have policies in respect of the internet of the office. You need to have policies in respect of every technology tools, including flash drives that you're using in your office. This is to ensure what you safeguard whatever information you're bringing. But above all, very, very important, you need to bring in training. Internet is very important. You need to integrate internet. choose the specific software that you think can work for you, that you need at that point. Don't go and buy software that you'll be subscribing ₦1 million per year when your turnover is like 2 million. You understand? You need to choose the exact one that you specifically need at that moment. And that is one of the easiest way from your question for you to be able to integrate into technology in a very, very
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Dayo. Thank you for that. That was I know you were trying to say several things, and because of the constraint of time, you're trying to pack several things into it. But let me also add that first of all, prioritize electricity in your law office. Because without electricity, every internet is just looking at you like, what do you use to power it? So please, electricity first. Every alternative source of electricity possible if the national grid is not reliable. And like Mr. Dayo said, I just want to echo the fact that we have to become accepting of the truth that technology is come to stay. So we cannot fight it, we cannot hedge it out, we cannot resist it. It's literally just going to be a fight of futility. So I'm going to come back to Fernandez now. You're trying to show us some tools earlier, so let's just piggyback on that. So now, can you give us some very practical ways that lawyers can use technology for? I'm going to mention 3 areas: legal research, case management, and client communication. In fact, I actually hinted on some of them, so I'm sure you will just build on that. So I will reiterate: legal research, case management, and client communication. Just very simple, basic, practical ways.
Thank you very much. So I'm sorry, I think I already jumped the gun. In answer to my first question, I answered the second question and this question that they're asking me. But no wahala. So let's come to some practical. I mentioned the Microsoft Word. I mean, I was going to all the basic, simple ones. I mentioned the one that we have here. But if you have a laptop today, there's the Microsoft Copilot that if you have the latest, I mean, if you update your OS, you usually have this Microsoft Copilot. So supposing you are given a document and they say you should summarize the content of these documents today. And of course, so what I would ideally do is I've already shown you how you can use your phone. If you don't have that application for your WhatsApp, for your camera, you can download the Cam Scanner. Cam Scanner allows you to you can convert the documents, a document that is physical, you can convert it to Word version and then send it. So once you have that Word version of the document, you can now copy that text. And I do that a lot, and it saves me a lot of time. Now I go to Copilot, or it depends on which one you're using. So if you're using Copilot, so Copilot comes with Microsoft Word. And the reason why I would say, it comes with the Microsoft system. And the reason why I'm a little more comfortable is that you don't have to go through a third-party system to use it. So I want to share my screen now. Madam, please allow me.
Okay, please go ahead.
So let me just share my entire screen. So this is the Microsoft Copilot. I mean, it's not a very good, it's not the best, this thing, but it's quite good. You can put think deeper if you want it to. Now, okay, no, this is not the item. So I want to go and copy that text that I had pasted before. The text I pasted before, so I'll paste it on Copilot and say, okay, please, can you summarize the above? Of course, this is a basic prompting. You have to do much. Like personally, sometimes they say when I prompt this thing, I prompt it like my prompt is bigger than the text I want to paste. So my friend will say, why don't you just post it without prompting? But anyway. So, and I selected Think Deeper. And then, I don't often use Copilot, but it's because it's the one that's available on Microsoft. So I hope that this one gives me what I want. Okay, so below is a detailed summary of the invitation, blah, 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 event book launch, blah, 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 highlights. Then this is his legal opinion, its opinion on it, liabilities and disclaimers, advisory notes, further considerations, and then, okay, did not do the last one, which is, so, and then, of course, you can ask it further questions. So say, no, I don't want this part, take out this part, do this part, this part, and this is on your Microsoft Word. You don't have to go to elsewhere. Sorry, this is on your computer. if you have the latest version of the Windows, for those of you that are not using crack devices. I mean, imagine how this can help you. So you have a series of documents that they say you should review and summarize, or you should do an opinion on. Again, I usually urge people to start from the end to the beginning. You already know what the law is. You know, you're not asking it to, even if you're asking it to tell you what the law is, you already know it. So you're not starting from, I don't know anything. And then you already know what you want to write, know how you want to write, but you just need to, you don't have time. So you just take that and scan that document, upload it to your Copilot or whichever app. My preference, my personal preference is Claude, Claude, because I can program it to write like me. It does all the stuff like me, but one is available, so I'm going to leave it at this. And then you have it. You will now do the opinion. Can I ask it? Okay, summarize this document. Do an opinion for me, etc. That's one. Two. There are a few other things. So you want to convert a PDF document to Word, or you have a picture and want to convert it to PDF, or you want to do anything with the PDF document. You want to edit it, maybe there's a minor change, you want to sign the document, you want to do anything. There's a website that I usually love to use. It's called ilovepdf.com. I'll just type it in so you see it. Again, I'm going for the basics. So ilovepdf.com. So I'm going to try and share my screen again. Madam, please don't be angry.
You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen again. These are basics. I'm not even doing the main AI thing. I'm just, playing with the basic thing. So you'll not see I'm doing advanced. Advanced is for next week. So you can see this document. You can merge PDF documents. You can split it. The document is too big. You can compress. You can convert the PDF document to Word. If you have a PowerPoint slide that is you want to convert to PowerPoint, you can do this. You can change it to Excel. etc. Anything you want to organize, move from page 1 to page 5. The PDF is locked. You want to unlock it. You want to remove password security. You want to protect it. You want to convert HTML. Any of those things I really want to do with the PDF. You want to redact. You want to convert a document that from when you scan, many scanners don't have the capacity to. When you scan the document, you can't copy the text. But if you want to convert it to something that you can copy the text, you can also make it OCR. OCR, that's optical character readable, etc. You can do any of these things with the I love PDF button. Madam, you say I have 2 minutes, so maybe I should stop here. But the only point I want to add
this is a very convenient and good
the only point I want to add is, if at all you are not using any of this, there's one very easy one that you should use. Either your OneDrive or your Google Drive. These things are easy. You want to share a document, you don't have to upload and download. You can send it to the third party, the link to the third party, and the third party will be able to see what document you are using, etc. I will leave it at that so that this woman will not kill me and she will allow me to talk another time.
Okay, thank you. I'm having a bit of internet fluctuation, so I'm going to have to turn my video off so that I can increase my bandwidth. Apologies for that. Okay, so now basically, because I can already see questions in the chat box, meaning you're going to have questions, because some people is looking like Fernandez is talking like you're doing magic, like because several things are happening at the same time. You're moving from one platform to the other, and I'm sure there are going to be more questions. So we're going to move straight to the issue of technology and the RPC. Now, and I'm going to direct this to Mr. Dayo. So, Mr. Dayo, my question to you is, what does the RPC say about now we are beginning to see that, okay, we can use this tool and this can make our life and work easier. But what does the RPC say about client confidentiality and how it applies to these digital communications and cloud storage? I remember Fernandez mentioned OneDrive. So because we know as lawyers, the primacy of our profession is on the tenets of confidentiality. So what does the RPC say about that? How do we marry client confidentiality while still trying to adopt these technological tools, and especially as it regards digital communication and cloud storage? So Mr. Dayo, please.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So specifically our rules of professional conduct, rule 19 specifically said something about keeping clients' information confidential, except for some certain exceptions that have been provided by the law. Yes, we know one of the easiest way to get this information out is because of technology is one of the easiest way to get some of this confidential information out of your when the information is with you. The easiest way to get it is technology can get it out, because it's either you are getting this through shared email and all that. But I feel one of the easiest way to try and manage this is one of the things Mr. Fernandez has also mentioned. Instead of moving around with documents, sharing documents all around, you can always share your drive, share documents using your Google Drive or some other tools that are available for you to share this document, and make sure these documents are end-to-end. You understand? You cannot copy these documents. There are tools you can put in place to ensure that these documents are encrypted, so that you will not be able to copy some of these documents. Another way you can ensure confidentiality for those documents that you're bringing in as a law firm specifically is you must have a policy in that office, and that policy must be personal. Right. So if you have a situation where we have documents that is already in this office, and you decide to show it on maybe on your Instagram page to show that you are the first person to see this document, or Senator, this just came to my office now, you should have a policy that that person should be answerable to, because the rules are very clear. Basically, you must ensure that what you keep all clients' information confidential. The exceptions are very clear when there is a court order or where there is consent of that party and all that. Another way you can do this is you must digitalize all your clients' file. It helps to keep documents very safe. You digitalize all your clients. There are a lot of law firms that are integrating into having all their processes scanned, digitalized, so that they can be able to access it. Now, accessing it, you also have different level of accessing, just like what you have in the banks. You understand? There are some particular parts that you cannot go as a worker of the bank. It's in stages. So if you put in place some of those tools, you'll be able to save yourself from breaching the rules of what? Professional conduct. Because number one, with technology now, cloud computing and all that, it's a lot of risk to clients' confidentiality, because information gets out there easily. So the only way we can ensure we protect it, we must start in-house first, ensure we have internal rules for ourselves as law firms, ensure we put in place the necessary cybersecurity measure to ensure that information of clients are easily protected. If not, we'll be going contrary to the rules of professional conduct as stated in Rule 19 of the RPC.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dayo. So one thing I took away from your contribution is that there is a need for every... Okay, Fernandez, you want to say something? Your mic is muted. If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Yeah,
okay.
Technology does not want me to talk. So I want to continue from where Dayo stopped. But before I say what I want to say, if you are on this group and on this thing and you have not registered for SLP, you are sitting on a long thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you are not also following the SLP on social media, whether LinkedIn particularly, the SLP or the SLP Law and Technology, follow both, because every now and then we are uploading very good content for the use of technology for general practice. And there's nothing stopping you. If you have joined the SLP, you can still join the other this thing. This is, I'm now paid my dues. Now let me come back to where I wanted to talk for where Dayo stopped. So on the SLP, I was just looking at the one of our posts on LinkedIn from the SLP Law and Technology Committee. So what we have done is we have put together some of the ethical issues and how to deal with them for technology. So one of the most important ones is the one about confidentiality. A lot of these technology tools require to upload client data, and sometimes in case of AI, you have to impute queries and which trains it. This now raises issues relating to confidentiality in the RPC. So when you're using that, you want to ensure that you maintain confidentiality, as Dayo has said earlier. And there's also the issue of competence and diligence. Now, you cannot be using the RPC requires you to be competent in the areas of practice that you claim to do. So if you are not competent in a particular area and you impute your document in maybe let's say AI or wherever, and you are relying on that information, I will give you output that is not correct, you are liable. You are violating Rule 16 of the RPC. It's also the duty of care, and to exercise due diligence and caution when you are dealing with your client's work. You don't want to, again, like I said, rely on AI or any other technology while you are providing information, and you have to ensure that the work you are doing is accurate the response you're giving is accurate and it's not wrong, even though AI, and a lot of the times they make mistakes. They give you, I don't want to talk about just wrong authorities, but wrong interpretation of the law. So you have to know what you're doing before you're using it. Then there's also the issue to be truthful, and you have to ensure that your information that you are providing for them, whether you're using technology to do so or not, is accurate and unbiased. And if you're in the cases of where you're using technology, it's important. I mean, some lawyers have argued that you should not, but it's important that your clients know the kind of technology so that they know the risks. There are some clients, I know some insurance companies or some clients who say, don't even use email for us, even though we try to encourage. But because if you're using email, you have to use also level of security. So you have to let them know if you're using any other type of technology to provide services. But that's my own personal view and the view of a couple of other people that are practicing in this. But we have diverging opinion on this point. But I just thought to make it. There's also the issue of independence of judgment, which goes back to over reliance of on AI. AI is one thing. You are the human being. You went to law school. You understand the nuances. AI will give an opinion. You are the one that has to decide whether or not that thing is correct. So that's Rule 24, sub 2 of the RPC requires you to exercise independent judgment in dealing with client matters. You also have a duty to uphold the law and avoid misconduct. You know, there are things about perpetuating discrimination and unlawful actions that AI can do. Your responsibility as a lawyer under Rule 15 is to ensure that whatever it is you're doing, you're upholding the rule of law and avoiding misconduct in your use of technology. There are also issue of the uh, duty not to create or preserve false evidence. You know, some of these tools can alter evidence. I just mentioned I love PDF now that you can use to edit a document, you can use to do whatever it is you can do. The reality is that yes, while you are doing it, it's supposed to be used bona fide. By the time you start to use it to create a document or to create false evidence or to create an alibi or anything, you have violated Rule 15 of the RPC, Rule 15 sub 3H of the RPC. I mean, there are also issues that relate to conflict of interest. Somebody is providing you technology, you need to know what the person's interests are. So, for example, you're using technology that is from the EU. You need to know whether the EU is telling you they have primed it or trained it in a way that it will tell you about LGBTQ, for example, which is a violation of our Nigerian laws. I'm not saying whether it's morally wrong or right, but a violation of the Nigerian laws. And so they are giving you points that would lean towards that. You have to be sure that there are no issues with conflict of interest, etc. Then, of course, there's the issue of advertising and soliciting. You know, I mean, this is something that we're going to discuss much later in our work, but it's also very important that the information you're putting, Rule 39 says that you must, whatever it is you're putting must be accurate, you know, and then you're advertising and then AI or whatever this thing gives you wrong information. You need to be sure that you follow, that you vet that information to be sure that it's correct. And I say this because there are lots of AI platforms that allow you to automate posting. So instead of you to go through the long, rigorous process of posting something, they just create content, put it, and then just post it on your social media or post it wherever. And then you're doing false advertising, which is a violation of the RPC. This is amongst all the other things that are a violation. I think I've spoken too much, a little too much, so I will stop.
Thank you so much, because you literally walked us through the entire gamut of the RPC. Beyond the issue of confidentiality, you stretched the conversation, and thank you for lending your voice to that question. So, distinguished participants, while Mr. Fernandez was speaking, please, you can just take a look at the chat box of this webinar. The admin of the NBA-SLP has posted. If you're yet to join the SLP, like Fernandez said, there's a link to join. There's even a picture on how you can pay your membership dues. So this is for members who are members but yet to pay their dues. If you're not a financial member for the year yet, please let the payments start coming in. Thank you very much for that. Now, okay. So I'm back to Mr. Dayo. And my question to you is going to be on the issue of, we have people on the call who are thinking everything you're saying sounds overwhelming to some people already. And they're wondering where, for instance, one thing you've hammered on twice in your submission is that every law firm should have a policy in-house on the adoption of technology. Now, my question to you is, for a lawyer or a law firm who is hesitant to embrace technology, who is still thinking this seems like a lot, what are your thoughts? What are the initial things you're going to say? What is the simplest way to start? To say, okay, I am hesitant, but I want to at least put one foot in the water to see how it feels. So how should a hesitant lawyer or a hesitant law firm start to embrace technology?
Honestly, I really don't know how to answer this question, honestly, but because I'm just wondering why somebody would say I'm not interested in technology, basically, because even for platforms nowadays, you have to be on WhatsApp for you to follow events that are happening. Even as lawyers, some people don't love they are not interested in all these social media platform and all that, and I totally agree with that. But as a law firm that you are interested in this, you can't even stay away from it now. Because for you to even apply for your stamp and seal now, you need to use technology, right? For you to pay your practicing fee, you need to use technology. So the only I don't think it's something you can even stay away from. It's not something you can say you don't want to be part of because it's already part of you. The only thing you can do is to ensure you start learning, right? You start learning. So even though you cannot do anything, start by the emails, right? Start obviously every lawyer now has an Android phone. If you don't have an Android phone, you have an iPhone. Most of the things your phones can do for you, you can do almost everything using your mobile. Right. So even though you feel okay when I'm talking about technology, I have to go and carry laptop, I have to go and carry scanner, carry no, you don't need that. You can start from just the mobile phone you have with you. Have some small tools on your mobile phones, like even the law pavilion you use in court, the Nigerian Weekly Law Report that you use in court. Your mobile phone can do that for you. Exchange of emails, your WhatsApp messages, and one of the examples Mr. Fernandez just showed us now of how you can scan your document and you're able to pick the text out of it. I use it a lot because most times you can't be moving with your laptop at every point in time. So the easiest way is to come with something you cannot do without, which is your mobile phone. Once you have your mobile phone, all you need to do is ensure it is an Android or whatever version it is and have internet on it. And number one of the major things you mentioned, yes, it has to be charged. Yes, because it will not work without that. So once you have that, you can't just stay away from it. Rather, for you to ensure that you start taking advantage and optimizing most of the benefits that are associated with it. But I don't see a situation where you should say you don't want to use technology. Now, in fact, at some point I was teaching in one of my classes and I asked my student, why do you put off your data? That because how many of you, when was the last time you even topped off your phone, going to probably a recharge card place and say, give me 200 naira recharge card? You don't do that again because internet has taken over everything. So once you top up your data, it's as if you have moved into another world. And that world, that's where you make the calls, you do all the connections. So I see no reason why while your phone is on, and you put off your data, it doesn't make any, okay, let me not say sense. It doesn't really look logical to me because your data is what connects you to the international world, right? So I see no reason why you should put it up. So it's not something you can hesitate or say you don't want to because it's already part of you. It has come to stay. I don't think it's something you can do without. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dayo. Thank you for your contribution. So the summary is that there's no need for hesitation. Technology is here to stay. We have to open our hearts and our arms to embrace it. So before we continue, I'm just going to take some of the comments and the questions that we have in the chat box so that it doesn't get, I don't lose track of it. Somebody's asking, Cynthia from Port Harcourt branch is asking about the recording of the webinar. The NBA-SLP admin will be the one to address that. Then Lydia Ohunsi from Lagos branch, he said, you talked about I don't think the biking software, maybe writing software and a host of other tools to make our practice easier, especially in interfacing with clients. Can you let us into some of these tools to assist our practice in integrating technology? So I think this should be for Fernandez. Now the question again, you talked about, I want to assume it's writing software and a host of other tools to make our practice easier, particularly in interfacing with clients. Can you let us into technology? So Fernandez, would you take that? Or you want me to read all the questions and then I'll let you know the ones directed to you? Or you go one question at a time?
You are the owner of this webinar. Anything you tell me, I will do.
Okay, so please answer this. Thank you.
Okay, so my understanding of this question is the person wants to know what are those technological things that they could do that could improve their practice. I mean, it's what we've been mentioning since we started. Essentially, I mean, I've gone from simple. I've talked about Microsoft Word, how Microsoft Word has the options for you to transcribe a document from different languages, including Nigerian languages. It has the option for you to record your speech, which can be taken to any of the other AI for recording and minutes. You can say, okay, if you have taken, if you have transcribed the document, you can upload it to another AI that will not tell it to do, to an AI, for example, that says, and even within the Microsoft Word space. So I'll give you an example. Where is my Microsoft Word? Again, madam, please allow me to share my screen. I hope I'm answering this question correctly.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, so I'm going to still do the same thing on my Microsoft Word. Or let me open a document. Let me open another Word document that I can use, that I know that will not be violating client or any other privacy. Um, okay, so I was at a CIOD webinar before. So I can use this one. This one I've already shared it with them. So CIOD webinar transcript. So I'm sharing my screen now. This is a transcript from the meeting. So I'm going to copy these parts. Oh no, let me just copy everything. Then I go to Ghostwriter Lego. Again, this is one of the add-ins that are on Microsoft. There are a lot of them, but let me just use this one. So I will say, what do I want? Do I want to respond? Do I want to clarify? Do I want to create a draft? Do I want to expand? Do I want to explain? Do I want to investigate? So let me see. I want to summarize. Let me see, summarize. So I want to summarize the content, summarize the following text. So I can just copy that document. Let me just paste it and see if it will work instead of doing that nonsense. So I select here. So here is working on it, and ideally, I mean, it's a bit long, so it might take a while for it to record. But this is the summary of it. Now within my Microsoft Word, the CID blah 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 held a match blah blah featured the following blah blah blah. The discussions highlighted blah blah blah, and this is a fairly. So I'll copy this and so I'll just go to another page and paste. So this before now we had 60 pages of documents, and this is now a 61 page. If I wanted to make it a report, there's also the option to report. You have a number of these options, but you don't even have to use this within the Microsoft. And like I said, there are many other add-ons that you can add. There's ChatGPT for Word, there's deep learning, there's autopilot, Quillbot, different things. So you can pick the one you want and use that. You also have DocuSign for Word. There's also ChatGPT for MS Word, which I'm using, etc. There are a bunch of others. Now, after you have stopped using, say you have done your work, you have copied these documents, you can take it to, say, for example, the Copilot that I used before, and I paste the item on Copilot and ask Copilot to do a report, normal text, do a report of this meeting or do a minute of this meeting. Copilot, okay, let me just post it. So I want to share my screen again. Basic level, window, Copilot, share. Although it's long, I don't know if Copilot will accept it because Copilot is not my best, like I said. It's not my best. What is the basic? Is the most basic because it's available for everybody. You don't have to go out of your system to use it. That's why I'm using it. So let me just copy Copilot. They say it exceeds the 102 characters that Copilot can have. But assuming it was shorter, if I have longer documents, I'll go to ChatGPT. But in using ChatGPT, there are many options to allow, or I'll go to my cloud. But in using any of these things, there are many options for privacy so that you're not imputing information that relates to a third party into a different party, which is a very important aspect. Remember, we talked about client confidentiality. So, assuming this was longer, I mean, this is longer, obviously, so you can't answer me, but I would have ordinarily said do reports. It won't work because it exceeds. So, let me stop sharing and let me go to ChatGPT. So, again, I want to share my screen. Chrome tab, ChatGPT. So for the chat GPT, notice I want to do a temporary chat. So the reason why I selected this temporary chat is so that the chat won't appear in my history. They cannot use it to create memories. It will not be used to train any model. So it's just a temporary chat. And I paste the item here. And I said, kindly, because I'm nice with chat GPT. Now with this, I can actually just say, if I needed to search for something on the internet, I can click search. I can do reason. There are a number of other options. I can upload pictures, but I'll just leave it at this. And I will enter. What are they saying? Oh, they are saying it's too long too. Oh well. Oh well, it's too long. So let me now do this one instead. So I come to Microsoft again. These are the challenges that we have. So I come to this one and I say, mm, shorten. Are you seeing my screen? What are you seeing on my screen?
Okay, it's still, I can still see the chat GPT interface
Oh,
on my
okay.
own
So
screen. Yeah.
so I only share that one, but just one moment. So I'm trying to shorten the document using the Ghostwriter Lego from my lab from the Microsoft Word. So now I've gotten a shortened version. I mean, it's too short, sure. But anyway, supposing I was able to get, let me look for a shorter. This one is too long, 61 pages. They would ideally not accept it. Most of them, unless you're using a paid version of this. Let me look for um, a shorter report.
Okay, so Fernandez, I'm allowing you spend a bit of time on this because there's also a second question where somebody is
I
asking
know.
for a report
I
on
saw
the
that question. I
Microsoft
saw
thing.
that question.
So,
I'm answering both questions. I'm answering both questions together. I saw the question. Okay, so there's a one moment, please. So yeah, so I've copied items from another meeting, which is shorter now, and I want to instruct it. Please do a minute of meeting using the above information. Go on. So essentially, what we now have is, I mean, the version of the minutes of meetings, but I can tell them that no, this meeting. Let me respond while it's typing. So, so it has now converted into it's now converting into the version that I like. Text form that we can now use, and then we can also ask it to do what do you call it, to create action items, etc. And then it creates that. So this is a shortened version of that minutes of meeting. So imagine that you are a corporate commercial counsel. I'm back to my this thing. So you're a corporate commercial counsel and you have had a meeting and you need to do minutes of meeting again. You can go to the temporary version or the what do you call it, the more complex version. If you are using a paid version, I don't use a paid version of ChatGPT. I use Claude instead. But if you are using ChatGPT a paid version, they can have longer responses. Otherwise, you go to the other one that the Chinese people have brought. But again, you have that, then you can do a minute in a matter of how long has this been. So the meeting finishes, you have a transcript from any of the recorders that you've used. From the transcript, you upload it there. You have your minutes of meeting. If you want to ask for highlights, you can ask for highlights. They'll provide it for you. You can ask for any other one. There's also the very simple and useful chat with PDF.com. Sorry, chatpdf.com.
Okay.
So it's called chatpdf.com. So you upload a chat document, sorry, a PDF document, and then you ask it any questions about the PDF document. We will answer the questions for you, etc. Okay, I'm sorry, ma. Mabino.
Mr. Fernandez, thank you so much. And I allowed him take this much time because I can see there is a lot of interest on people want to understand what you did with on Microsoft Word. So we'll just do a short commercial break to advertise the forthcoming SLP conference. Distinguished participants, if you will kindly check the chat box, you will see that the SLP admin has posted the link to register for the forthcoming SLP conference taking place in Gel. The flyer is in the chat box too. We look forward to hosting and seeing you at the conference. It promises to be a very wonderful experience. You don't want to miss it. All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. Okay, so we have a question here from Lillian Iziayom. And the question is, what tools are available to in-house lawyers to help with better company secretary delivery? I know Fernandez just mentioned conversion, developing minutes of meeting from a report and all of those things. So that means, so Fernandez, I'm still back to you. Mr. Dayo, I'm coming to you soon. But Fernandez, so this is still your question. So can I just extend the last few things you were saying about minutes of meeting and especially for in-house counsels? So in better service delivery. Thank you.
What I've just done just now is a longer version of it's a very simple thing. Now on this meeting, I have this being recorded by my Otter app. I also have my Fathom app. The two of them will just simply either Otter or Fathom. And it's recording. Who is sharing the screen? It's not mine. Okay, Wakili.
Oh, okay. Can the host disable participants from being able to? Okay, I can actually do that. So I will handle that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I have either of these apps that are available. Now at the end of this meeting, they will send me a written summary of what has happened here. As an in-house counsel, I can just convert that. In fact, you can even ask it to write a minute and you write a minute. I'll give you a good example. So the meeting that I referred to earlier, that I did the summary for, I want to still share my screen again. In that case, I use Fathom. So I just want to use the Chrome tab and let me see Fathom. So this is the video. I use Fathom. So Fathom gave me the video for the meeting, 29 minutes. There's also the summary of the meeting, which is here, which I can take. There's also a transcript, which tells me everything that I said. And interestingly, if I select the transcript, it takes me to the point of the meeting.
Drag it, and it will now ask me if this is the certificate I want to use. Sounds yes.
Yeah, so you see that I can go back to any particular point. I can select where I want, and then it takes me there exactly. I can also ask it a question about the meeting, and it would answer. This is Fathom. There's also the Otter.ai, Otter AI that I've seen that I'm not the only one that is using. There's somebody else that's also using it. Those ones too, they convert the meeting transcript, they record the meeting, convert it to transcript, they make it available for you to use it wherever you want to use it for with ads. And the reality is that sometimes the transcript itself may not be actually accurate. But what it tends to do is by the time you now convert that into a minute of meeting, sort of tries to understand what is intended to be said and then put it to you as a final person that's giving the output, can now make adjustments for that. There are also apps that help you from end to end. So you receive an email, it assigns the thing as a task, it tells you who's supposed to do certain things, but that's going to be discussed at the next session for in-house counsel and external counsel. There are also issues with calendar. So for me, what I use for my calendaring, I use the Google Calendar, obviously, but I also use from time to time my Calendly app. It's called the Calendly app. So that is for arranging meetings. So I have a meeting, for example, I just simply go to, I send the link to my Calendly app, and then the person can select, okay, the available dates are 20th, 21st. Okay, let's say on the 21st, the available times are 9 o'clock, 9:30. So the person picks 13 next. You can now put your email and select. So this is connected to both my Zoom account, my Google Meet account and my address in Lagos. So you can select which one you want to put. If you want to add additional guests, we can do, especially for virtual meetings. So that way, and then once the person puts that information, it's logged into my Google calendar. And every morning when I wake up, I receive a text, an email. Every morning that day, I receive an email from my AI Google telling me you have so number of meetings today, so I'm not forgetting. And you can also set it to send you meetings, notification of meetings at the start of every week. The same thing with your Google Calendar. You have meetings. Immediately you have a meeting, you put it on the calendar, and then share it your Google Calendar, and then you share that Google Calendar, add participants to that calendar, all the people that are intended to be in that meeting. You share that calendar invite and put an alarm time. So you're supposed to receive an alert a day before, 2 days before. You set it there, and then it doesn't take 3 minutes, it doesn't take up to 5 minutes. You do it on your phone. So for example, so on my phone now, I don't know if you can see my phone. Again, I want to make it as easy as possible. So I go to my calendar and where's my calendar? So my calendar, and I have a meeting. So I just simply start a meeting, put whatever it is I want to put. So let's say the next time I'm in court. Where is my next? Okay, the last time I was in court, let me use that one. March. Oh well. Or any meeting really, you just simply start the meeting. You know, you select an event or a task, you put in the name of the task, then you can add what do you call it? You can add people, other people that are going to be joining on the call, or you can send this to an email. You put in all the information and it's there, every member of your team. So you can add people on this call. So I want to add Damilola where all of us are together. Wherever it is, I have their email, I'll put their email. So once I put it, that information, all of us will receive notifications of that meeting. So once it's 5 o'clock, once it's 10 o'clock for that meeting, all of us are aware. We can set it to have additional, again, we can set it to have additional notifications. Where is the notification? So we can say, where is add notification? So we have this one notification. So I can add 1 week, 1 day before. I can even do custom and add notifications for maybe days and then put 10 days before. So whatever it is, so 1 week, 3 days before. So I can put that notification. So for all our meetings. So once I put that, I put everybody's email. And in cases where you have a group email, that group email, that you put that group email, everybody receives a notification and it's in our calendar. So there are other software, other more this, but I'll just use this one. This way it makes things scheduling easy and good for everybody. Again, I think I've spoken too much and too fast.
I know you're trying to say so many constraints of time. So I'm going to take this comment by Munir Shehu in the chat. Particularly the magistrate, area court, technology and support from the government, and also that question here for Fernandez. I wanted it to be for technology. I mentioned the part of the question that relates to client billing software.
Hello, is it just me? Do I have hello? 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 Dayo, is it just me or is this lady on the call? Has she dropped off?
I don't know what happened. So, like, I've just been here too. Maybe she has a bad network. So,
Okay, I mean, if she has a bad network, it's fine. So I think you can continue. I think I've spoken quite a bit, so you can just
okay. Oh, okay.
next
Okay.
question.
Oh, okay. So for me, I just maybe let me just before she comes back here, the immediate measures that I think we lawyers can take specifically is we need to ensure that we have. I will still mention the issue of internal policy is very important. I think we should limit access to information in our offices. It's very important. You need to have encryption on your very important document. You know, when you have your document encrypted, it ensures protection from you make it unreadable for anybody to access it or to be able to make changes to those documents. You need to have strong passwords for your. These are very, very simple things that you need to have. You need to have strong password. Ensure you have continuous authentication for different very important tools that you use in your office, especially for those two password authentication process, the passcodes. All these things are security measures that you can use to safeguard your information, especially as a law firm. Those are the immediate steps you can use to secure client information. You need to have a secure file sharing and messaging system to ensure that any information that you are sharing, any file that you are sharing, you have a safe protection mechanism, especially for some of the platforms that Mr. Fernandez just mentioned. In fact, one of them I've not seen it before. The calendaring, I've never seen that one before. So this is the first time I'm hearing about it, and I've noted it already. So it's very important for us to do that. Then you also need physical security. Very important. When we look at physical security, you need to monitor, you need to ensure that your staff in the office, that's especially your secretariat, apart from the lawyers, it might be easy for the lawyers to understand it, but you need to also ensure that the secretarial staff, the litigation secretary, and all other persons that work with the paralegals generally, are also in compliance with this to ensure that the information of a client is properly protected and uh, guided from being taken out there, because most of the technical aspect of it, I think Mr. Fernandez have already dealt with it, and I think he's done perfectly well in respect of that. We're looking at some of the technical aspect of some of the uh, conversations. So I think that will be all. And in respect of the professional ethics, I think you've done a lot of work in respect of that. We also need to be wary. We don't have to say because technology is now here, we go online and start breaching the rules of professional conduct. The rules are actually very clear as to what we're supposed to do in respect of advertisement online. Nowadays, we see lawyers promoting the success of the registration of CAC. I know this is a topic that they will say don't talk about it, but basically people are taking advantage of. I've seen a particular video online recently where somebody said, "I am so 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 person. I've registered more than 50,000, 50 so 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 company in Nigeria. Join me as I unravel how." We need to find limitation to this thing so that the original intention of our rules of professional conduct is not ridiculed, basically. So we need to ensure that we take advantage of that. Now, just in conclusion, before I hand over to my Oga, the issue with using emails, right, in law firm. So if you have a thread of email, be careful as to the persons you join to the thread of your emails. Right. You don't just bring anybody into the thread of any email or any conversation you're having. Your WhatsApp groups, you have to ensure that it's properly controlled and guided. And from time to time, you ensure that you advise the users on the WhatsApp group to ensure that they follow the necessary two-step verification just to ensure security of that particular platform. So I think that is just what I have to say in respect of this. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Fernandez.
so yes, thank you very much, Dayo. I
Thank
just
you.
let me add.
Okay.
Okay, you're back. Welcome back.
Yes, apologies for that. Okay, you wanted to say something? Please go ahead.
No. I just wanted to add for the security aspect. So you're using an email. You want to use. I mean, again, we advise that you use a customized email address, customized website. You have a website, use a customized email address. But it's also important that you are not compromising on the security of that address. There are different providers that can help you manage those. I don't want to mention. Oh, I can even say there's the Microsoft, there's the Office 360, there's Google. You know, have you lost your phone and tried to log into your Google account? And you see how that problem is. They will ask you, I saw a video, somebody will ask you, is this you? because they will ask you questions, they will ask you to go to your other device and take something and go to this other device. You know, there's what we call a multi-factor authentication. So one time I was using my Office 360 here and I used the VPN and put that out for Canada. By the time I was typing, they told me no, you have to send a notification to my account and all those other things. I had to verify, 2 or 3 steps ahead that this is me. So it's important that when we are trying to do our own personalized domain names, personalized emails, and all those things, we are using appropriate security. We have multi-factor authentication. When we check and receive emails that's about something, we are not excited and just start clicking on the links. We're looking at if it's Fernandez.com, if somebody is saying something is coming from Jumia, for example, and you see Jumia promo.fernandez at promo at Jumia promo.fernandez.com. Obviously, see that it's a .fernandez.com, so it's obviously not something that you should click. It's because clicking on those emails, for example, will give them access to your computers. They're able to access your clients. You can be the weakest link in the sense that your clients are putting a lot of money in their security. You also have to put a lot of money in your security. Clients tell you things that they would not tell anybody else. They share documents with you that they would not share with anybody. And so if your security is bad, everything is bad. So you have to invest on, security. Again, I would advise, if you don't have money, you don't want to spend a lot of money on the most significant, you can pay money to use the paid Google account and create emails and log them to your Google. You can use Office 360 to manage your emails, Outlook, and related things, or you can go to more secure ones like one.com, etc. But while you are using those, you make sure that you have the appropriate security level for each of those things. Otherwise, you'll be missing. And I mentioned a very significant aspect. You see a website or an email coming from somebody. If the email is coming from Jumia, you will see jumia.com. By the time you see jumia.damilolaalabi.com, you see that it's Damilola Alabi that is coming from. It's not Jumia. You're not clicking that link. If you see sometimes, and I receive this a lot, they will send me emails that look like my one.com, my OneDrive is about to close. Anytime you receive a message that makes you scared, oh, that makes you or excited, first check a third party. There are also issues with people calling on the phone or sending you text messages to say, send me money. As a practice, which is why I like when Dayo said the thing about having a policy. So it should be written down in your policy. If somebody calls you to ask for money, you should have a callback policy that says if somebody sends you a message to ask for money, you call the person back to confirm that it's the person. Even if they are doing a video call, because now there are AI software that allow you to manipulate phone calls, so to manipulate people. So I'm talking to you now. In fact, if I did not want to join this meeting, I could have just cloned my AI and may just be writing the script, and my AI will be saying whatever it is I'll be saying. It will look exactly like me, be talking exactly like me. So it's important that once you have a situation, even if it's a video call, you cut that call, dial the person back, ask the person a question like that, because that's this. And then for financial transactions for law firms, individual, you want to make sure that you have 2 layers. So one person sends and one person approves. One person sends, you have 2 or 3 people. So if, for example, somebody is able to trick you into wanting to release the money, it may not be able to trick the second person because that second person will ask questions. It's important that we have, again, and like Dayo has said, the most significant thing you can start doing is to have a policy. But you can't have a policy if you don't have information. So I would say the first thing to do is to have somebody or to assess your situation, your current situation, what you need. And then once you access on the basis of that, you draft a policy for what you want. You do a needs assessment. Once you have that, you create the AI, whatever software is, and then draft a policy. Everybody in your firm needs to know what to do in a particular instance. If there's data breach involved, you know what to do when data privacy these things occur. If there's any other scare, you know what to stake. If somebody wants to use AI, the person knows that no, I cannot use it on my phone or I can use it on my laptop. I cannot put flash drive on this, or this is a violation, I must do this. You take that step so that when the problem occurs, it's not that time that the person starts thinking of what's the solution. The person already knows what to do to prevent the problem and what will happen after the problem if it eventually occurs. So, well, again, at the risk of, no, not at any risk, I've
Thank
already
you.
spoken too much. I'll go back.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. And apologies, my network kicked me out and I have to find my way back in. My apologies for that. So for those, I've been seeing questions in the chat box, inquiries about the recording for the webinar. This webinar is being live streamed on YouTube. So the link is currently being shared in the chat box. You can check the link. You can check the link. So you can check the link for the recording, and you can subsequently visit the NBA-SLP YouTube channel. So Fernandez, I don't know if you answered this question by Monica that says, please, how did you get the chat how to get the AI version, ChatGPT, and the rest on display? I don't know if you answered that in my absence. Your mic is muted, Fernandez.
Yeah, if you go to chat.openai.com, you get ChatGPT. You can now pay to upgrade. I think there's a $20 per month version, there's a free version, there's a $200 per month version for different levels. There is DeepMind, which is from China, but I'm always worried about anything that has China in it, even though I'm still worried about the US too. Again, because the reason is that our NDPA requires us, there are certain countries that we should not, the countries have to have similar guidelines and similar laws, data protection laws as us. And I'm not sure Chinese laws are similar to us. I don't know if there was one time the white list that was done by this was set aside by the court. So because of that, I will not mention specifically that, but I'm saying that the laws have to match. So when you have a Chinese product, you are careful to be sure that you're not violating the NDPC by uploading your documents there. But there's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, there's Claude, which I use. And even with ChatGPT, you can prompt it, you can engineer it, you can say, don't share my data with third party, share my data, because you can put information on ChatGPT. That's your client's personal data. And the next day, Damilola is in her office. She prompts ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will tell her, give her the personal information that is your client's information. The issues relating to IP, so you want to be careful not to cross that. Is it Rubicon they call it, but to try to prevent any problems. Stephanie.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So we are gradually coming to the end of the webinar. And there's a personal question here for you, Fernandez. Someone is interested in purchasing your book. So I don't know how. Okay, then there's a question here. Please, what are the risks in sharing client information with ChatGPT? How can the information be secured? That's driving from the last thing you just said. You're muted, Fernandez.
One moment. So let me do this. Just one moment. So I want to visit chat.openai.com. That's ChatGPT. So this is where I am. So there's this first part, which is temporary. You can select it to make sure that your chat is temporary. Whatever you're posting there, it's not there. So after 6 hours, you actually don't have access to it, even though ChatGPT will keep it for up to 30 days so you can retrieve. After that, it's deleted, but it's kept in a silo. There's that option. There's this part now. Your ChatGPT, you select, you go to settings. Now, where is this data controls? So there's this option. Now, when your ChatGPT comes, it comes with this on. I turned it off for personal purposes because I don't want to share data related to it. At some point, I share it, I keep it available because, again, I want Nigerian information so that AI can have access to Nigerian information. So when I'm not sharing sensitive information, etc., I turn it on. But generally, I will just turn it off. So this comes on, you turn it off first. Once you turn it off, we are now saying that we don't want you to use our data for learning anything. We don't want you to use our data for any other purpose. It's just for us. Again, that's for ChatGPT. For Claude, by default, it is not sharing your information. It's not using it for training purposes. It's just in a silo. And there are a number of other apps. So you have to specifically look for those apps. Look at their policies. Their privacy policy to see what they are going to do with your information. And look if you have options to stop it from taking it to third parties. Microsoft Word, a majority of all our functions are Microsoft Word. If that information was going to be leaked, it is going to be leaked. But I know that Microsoft has a relatively robust security this thing, and they meet the quality, at least in Nigeria and elsewhere. So because of that, I'm more comfortable using things like Copilot and other things within the Microsoft Word, within the Microsoft space. So whether it's Office 360, whether it's Microsoft Word, whether it's any of those things, I'm a little bit more comfortable using that than using most of the other ones if I'm worried about privacy and all those other concerns. So yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for that, and I'm sure your intervention has addressed the concerns that are raised. So this is us closing, and I don't know if Fernandez, you have spoken a lot, so I'll allow Mr. Dayo to do the closing to share his closing thoughts on behalf of both of you. Mr. Dayo, are you still on the call?
Yes, I'm still on the call. I actually, okay, if you
Okay.
say I should go
Oh,
ahead, that's fine.
okay, so please,
Yes.
your what do I call it? Your parting words to our participants on the adoption of technology. Yes.
Okay, technology has actually come to stay. The only thing we have to do is we should try to ensure that we are accustomed to ourselves to the use of most of these benefits that come with it and reduce stress. If you look at most of this, it helps to reduce stress. That's another thing. And also the lifespan of a lawyer will also be extended. I believe that's also very important. So please take advantage of technology. Let's learn more. Most of these applications are out there. Let's try to explore more and benefit more from it. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Fernandez and Damilola.
Thank you so much. And once again, we want to say that from the SLP Law and Tech community, we have more webinars like this. Is just like the 101. This is the first. So we have others coming in too. And thank you so much. And thank you, please, dear participants, join the SLP, register for the SLP conference. And yes, and we look forward to seeing you in JOS. And we also look forward to seeing you in our subsequent webinars. We'll be advertising soon. We have another series coming up. We have another edition coming up next week. We hope that you make the time to join us for that. It's going to be a continuation of what we have shared here today. So on behalf of the Nigerian Bar Association Section on Legal Practice, Tech and Law Committee, we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of our webinar. And we hope that you got some really good value for your time that you have chosen to spend with us this afternoon. Thank you once again and see you next time.